Your WavyOcho. I'm gonna react to why Joe Rogan and Howard Steen don't like each other.
Have Joe Rogan on all the time. Joe is angry with me. He has a problem with me, and I know why.
Why exactly do Howard Stern and Joe Rogan hate each other? It's a feud that's lasted over 20 years and includes multiple different reasons, only made crazier by the fact that they used to be pretty good friends. This could be seen during Joe's very first appearance on Howard Stern, where in September 2000, Howard began by praising one of Joe's comedy segments.
One of the best bits we've played on the radio in a long time is a bit by Joe Rogan, who stopped by today, and I want to play it for you right now. Here's Joe Rogan's bit.
After playing the lengthy segment, Howard and Joe talked about how much they liked each other.
A great bit, a great comedian, Joe Rogan. Good to meet you, Joe. Finally have you on the show.
What's happening, man?
How you doing?
This is an honor.
Yeah. It's an honor to meet you.
After which Joe Rogan became a regular guest on the show until the first incident of February 2002. Howard and Joe's friendship had
This is when Joe Rogan had hair. Now he's bald. And Howard Stern, I think he still has hair.
strengthened in the 18 months prior, so much that they'd spent time together outside of the show. On the 6th of February 2002, the pair flew to Vegas where they'd end their evening at a strip club. In a state of intoxication, Joe made some jokes/comments about the girls there, done so in a private setting between friends. Although when they'd record a Stern Show episode the very next day, Howard tried to publicly call Joe a misogynist by airing his comments from the night before.
Then we went over to Club Paradise. Joe Rogan, you try to act like you're above the strip club. Oh, come on.
How am I trying to act like I'm above?
You can see this guy's nose.
He said you're trying to act like you above the strip club. That's great. That's funny. I ain't gonna lie.
Well, I mean, you're
these girls, they don't like me.
What are you talking about?
Yeah?
No such thing.
He goes, these whores, this and the other. We want to love these
I
girls.
don't say it that way.
I think you're angry with women.
This was obviously a bit embarrassing, but Joe
think
didn't
you're
seem
angry
all that
woman.
concerned. It was the early 2000s and controversial moments were an expectation on Howard Stern's show. Only as time progressed, Howard refused to let the moment die and would push the same narrative in a later episode when Joe wasn't there.
Joe hates women. Joe's weird. Like, I've gone to strip clubs with him.
Damn. Howard Stern saying Joe's weird. He hates women. All that.
He's like, hey, me a whore.
In the meantime, Howard tried to manufacture even
Well, maybe, I don't know, maybe Joe Rogan was married or something. Maybe married or something. You don't know, like, or maybe he was married. You know, maybe he was seeing someone on the low or something like that.
more embarrassment by inviting a girl Joe had been with in the past to sabotage his reputation further.
He was my first one-night stand.
Howard and Joe again.
Really, a one-night stand. Taylor. By the way, you were Joe's 350th one-night stand.
That's fine. I learned a lot.
Where did you meet Joe? You learned a lot from him?
Yeah.
That's sweet. What did you learn from Joe?
Well, after that wonderful one-night stand, I got pregnant, and
What?
Yeah.
What?
You not hear him?
Are you kidding me? How old's your son?
I never texted.
Thank you, Jesus.
Damn, she aborted the baby. She aborted the baby. Wow.
Joe played the awkward moment off like it was no big deal. However, this was much harder after Howard then invited Joe's actual ex-girlfriend onto the show.
But how did he hurt you? Did he cheat on you? He did. Did you think you had an exclusive relationship with him at the time?
This is on the radio for the world.
I did.
He did. Joe. Joe, let me ask you, why cheat on her? Why not be honest?
You know what? We used to have huge fights, and then I would.
Yeah, but why the cheating?
And having grown tired of being embarrassed publicly, Joe's appearances on the Stern Show became less frequent than non-existent. Noticing the pair's potential fallout, fans took to the Joe Rogan official forums where they'd bring up the original strip club incident before they'd receive clarity from none other than Joe Rogan himself. He'd write, "My problem with Howard's version of the story is that it's complete crap. I never said getaway horse to anyone. There are a lot of aggressive strippers that were trying to get guys to buy lap dances. Howard and some of the other guys were getting them and I didn't want one. The girls were pushy and all I kept saying is no thanks. Somehow that turned into getaway horse when he got on the radio."
Damn, bro. The girls was aggressive and pushy. Damn.
When you've got a guy that you respect and admire and you've done his show a bunch of times, you think that you're friends. Then when that guy turns on you and talks badly about you, especially when it's not true, it's a gross feeling. I'm a loyal friend and that stuff means a lot to me. If I had a friend outside of show business and he gave a distorted account of me like that, I would stop hanging around him and I wouldn't trust him anymore. As for Howard, I have no ill feelings. I still listen to Stern all the time. I was always a huge fan of the show. I'll probably do Stern again sometime. I just thought that whole situation was really weak and I didn't want to be a part of it. Having confirmed that the two were in fact fighting, Joe was asked about the feud in various radio appearances.
The alleged feud with Howard Stern and Joe Rogan here. Howard has nothing but good things to say, and he's always wondering why you don't do his show anymore.
At which point he'd elaborate further.
Howard said, Jill hates women. And I listened to that and I was like, that's not true. And I was like, what do I do? Do I go on and defend myself? And then you get to that weird cycle of, like accusing and defending. And like, I don't like negativity. I don't like conflict. There's like a whole gotcha mentality over there. No, that's very true.
However, Joe discussing their feud only added fuel to the fire, as Howard then took to his own show to offer his side of the argument.
Speaking of feuds, Joe hasn't appeared on our show, Joe the comedian. So I told you Joe had some problem with me, so we discussed it with Craig Fitzsimmons.
He won't discuss it with us.
No, and I remember the exact incident and everything, and I knew this was what it was. Yeah, this is Joe. Yeah, this is what Joe said.
He said something about me on the air that I didn't like. He said I hate women. And I was like, come on, man, really? First of all, I'm gonna have to defend that. So then, whenever you're defending something like that, it always automatically looks like it's flag defense. Yeah, I don't even want to be involved. I said, I'll just be a fan again.
And Joe's right. It's better he doesn't come on because he's building this thing up. I understand what he's saying, because if you start dealing with it on the air, then it becomes even bigger.
To me, let it go. Come back in and let's have fun.
I like it better this way. You know what I mean?
It was clear that Joe and Howard weren't exactly best buddies, although to make matters worse, all of this went down 6 months before Joe had even started his podcast, which only damaged their relationship.
Damn, this was before Rogan started his podcast. Wow. Joe didn't even start his podcast, bro.
Further, in March 2015, Howard made the claim that podcasts are for losers, prompting Joe's friend Ari Shafir to bring up the topic on episode 623.
Yeah, so he basically calling like Joe Rogan a loser, cause Joe Rogan has a podcast. He got a podcast.
You're upset with Howard Stern because he said that shit about podcasting. That's the new thing I'm upset with Howard Stern over. It just shows how much he's lost touch. Like, that's not the way you become a radio DJ. Stern, no one wants to become a radio DJ who's doing podcasts. That's not our end goal. Anyone who listens to a podcast and listens to Howard Stern, just so you know, Howard Stern called you a loser for listening to podcasts as well.
This gave Howard Stern the chance to respond.
I got tape from Joe Rogan's podcast. He had a comedian on there who was bashing him. He's a 41-year-old comedian. I've never heard or knows anyone else. Sticking around with some podcast and he's hurt that I said that podcasts are no good. And if you sit in your room and do a podcast, you're pretending to be a broadcaster. Take the podcast and throw it out the window. You're 41 and you're on Joe's podcast and no one knows who you are and no one's going to hear you. This guy is like a street performer giving advice to Paul McCartney. Howard's old. He doesn't understand podcasting. No, I understand it perfectly. He goes, and by the way, everyone who has a podcast, Howard Stern's calling you a loser. Yeah, I stand by that. Exactly what I'm doing.
However, despite Ari getting absolutely destroyed, it was obvious that Joe was trying to avoid drama.
Stern has really good answers. They're really good. Still, new ones? Very. He might have some ideas that I don't agree with, like the podcasters are losers, but like that guy's the number one.
Which was in turn appreciated by Howard.
Joe was nice. He was like, Howard's a great broadcaster. Why don't you listen to what he's saying? Joe was like, are you for real?
In a 2019 article titled Howard Stern Says He Has Changed How Much, Stern was asked, do you listen to Joe Rogan's podcast? To which he'd respond by stating, I'm a fan of Joe Rogan. I've never watched the entire podcast, but there's tons of clips of him, and he does a really good job, showing that perhaps they'd resurrected their friendship. Although the very next question was, is there an issue between you guys? To which Howard stated, yeah, there is. I was a fan of Joe's comedy. I was a big proponent of his before he was a host on TV, before he got into MMA fighting or whatever. Joe was a guest one time and I said something to him off air, which I won't go into, but he took offense. I haven't heard or seen him since. I think he made the decision that I was toxic for him, but I hold no grudge, showing that there might have been another private incident between them, as was also suggested by this clip.
I said something to him in private, and he was insulted by what I said. I don't even know if he has dislike or something. I don't know, but no, I won't be having him on, but that's not my idea. That's his.
Despite this, the interviewer then asked Howard, has he invited you on his show, to which he'd state, he hasn't, I'm not opposed to it. I've asked him to come on my show, but he doesn't want to, and I respect that it's not meant to be, which only became more ingrained in the very next year of 2020. Joe began the year by once again praising Howard Stern.
Whatever anybody wants to say about Howard Stern, he opened the door for podcasts, for sure. All these outrageous people doing podcasts, he made the road.
However, as the pandemic made everything about politics, it became apparent that Howard and Joe held completely different opinions. While Howard Stern was vigorously pro-vaccine, Joe made it clear that he'd rather use alternate medicine, leading Howard to resuscitate their very public feud.
Like I heard Rogan was saying, he says, what do you bust him out for? Yeah, he goes, I took horse fever. Yeah, then a doctor did. Well, a doctor would also give you a vaccine. So why take horse fever?
Joe provided no response to Howard's comments, and instead continued to host the podcast as he'd done so previously. Showing no interest in changing his stance, Joe was then pressured by the public to alter his behavior or explain his actions, eventually leading to this video.
I'm just a person who sits down and talks to people and has conversations with them. Do I get things wrong? Absolutely, I get things wrong.
Although it seemed Howard Stern wasn't satisfied with Joe Rogan's response. The whole thing with Joe Rogan is so silly to me, Stern told listeners on Tuesday. Even the apology, he just should have said, you know what, listen, I'm a comedian and I have no idea what I'm talking about. I have no medical background whatsoever to be telling people what to do with their health, Stern continued. He should issue an apology saying, I'm wrong and go and get the vaccine before you die. Although Joe maintained his refusal to argue and instead continued to praise what Howard had done for radio.
People to this day, they make fun of Howard Stern because of who he is now and the way he behaves now. That guy's the man. When he was the king of all...
Damn, it sounds like Joe Rogan is still praising Howard Stern.
And now he's
Even though Howard Stern really don't like Joe Rogan, Joe's still praising Howard. Howard.
Crazy. Roughly 2 months later, Joe was once again asked the following.
What do you think of what Howard's become recently? Well, he's the only person I know who's gone, other than Penn maybe, who's gone from being red-pilled to blue-pilled.
Although the conversation went elsewhere before Joe would give an answer, prolonging the feud until the two media legends clash again in the...
Okay, that's the vid. So yeah, look, bro, let me know what y'all think, bro. Are y'all on Joe Rogan's side, or y'all on Howard's side? Comment down below. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Y'all know the vibes. WavyOcho checking out you are.